Hi, welcome back. I'm Lisa, and this is Second Peek. There was a time in my life when I thought that I was being extremely responsible. I thought that I was disciplined. I was focused. I was taking care of myself. I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do. And honestly, from the outside, it probably looked like exactly that. But what I didn't see at the time was how much of my actual life that I was quietly saying no to. Not in big dramatic ways, but in just small ways. Little invitations, simple plans, casual gatherings, things that didn't fit my schedule. Because back then, everything just revolved around what I needed to eat, or when I needed to exercise, or what I needed to wear, and whether or not that something would throw my plan off. And I remember turning down pool parties, not because I didn't like the people, but I just didn't feel comfortable in a swimsuit or going to the lake or anything like that, wearing shorts. And I would hesitate about certain family events even because I didn't know what the food situation would be like. There were lots of evenings where technically nothing was wrong, but my mind was just continually occupied with counting and tracking and what I had eaten and what exercise I had done, and just doing the calories in minus exercise math. And when you live like that, you don't really notice what's happening because it's not dramatic and it just feels normal until one day you start to look back and it just hit me that I didn't miss just a few events. I had missed a whole category of living, and that was the spontaneous part, that part that was relaxed, that part where you just show up and let the day unfold. Because I had trained myself to believe that being prepared was the same thing as being healthy, but those aren't the same. Preparation can support life, or it can quietly replace it. And I think that the realization, that realization was one of the first chinks in my armor, one of the first cracks in the system that I had built. Because once you see it, you can't really unsee it. And you start noticing how often you're checking the clock, how often you're calculating, how often you are mentally planning instead of just being present. And presence is actually where life happens. Not in the perfect plan, not in the perfectly structured day, not in the perfectly balanced routine. Life happens in the messy middle. That unplanned conversation, that hour that you didn't expect, that gathering that went long, the invitation you almost declined because you couldn't find something to wear. You know, honestly, I think one of the hardest realizations is understanding that you can be doing everything right and still miss the point. Because the goal of taking care of yourself is never supposed to be shrinking your world. It's supposed to be giving you the strength to live it fully. And I didn't realize then how much the next phase of my life was going to be about learning how to say yes again.